How do you keep the rest of the team from any kind of complacency from Game 3?
I mean, I think, there's a understanding in between our guys that, we haven't been very good over the course of the last really 2 years. We've been good this year in Game 3, but, you know, before that we just hadn't performed well in Game 3, and that's probably a sense of complacency. So, I think guys are locked in like I've never seen before, understand the task at hand and know that this is going to be the hardest game of the series, and if we can come out on top, we put ourselves in a tremendous position. But, I mean, they're down 2-0, coming home, crowd's going to be loud, they're going to give everything they have. And, we definitely understand that and know that we got to come out ready to fight and just be ready for whatever, because they're going to throw everything at us.
Remy said at the beginning of the season that you want to crush Cavs. That was the feeling in your heart. Now, after these 2 games, are you feeling that you're near to accomplish that?
No. We've been up 3 games to 1 before. There's no feeling of we're almost there. Got to play every game like you're down. And I think if you can keep that mindset, you'll eventually reach, the goal. But say we're up 2-0, we're good. Like, still got 2 more games to win, and those 2 will be way harder than the first 2. So, we just got to stay locked in like we've been.
You just said that your teammates are locked in like you've never seen before. What makes you say that? Is there certain things that you see in your teammates?
I mean, you just see, a certain amount of focus. You see a competitive level, of where, like, it hasn't been matched. And, that's a good sign. But just the way guys have been locked in, focused on the task at hand, I mean, it's been a special thing. And yet, in saying that, I think we can be so much better. I think the first game, we executed great, and we had 4 turnovers, but we didn't really make shots. The second game, we didn't execute very well, but we made shots, so now we need to put those 2 things together. But the one thing that has been constant is we've competed, and we've, been locked in on the defensive end. If we continue to do that, we'll always give ourselves a chance to win.
How much better do you think Cleveland can be?
I think they can be better, but I think if we continue to play our game and we get to our best, I think we'll be just fine.
Draymond, everyone calls LeBron the best player on the planet. Is Kevin making a case that he's the best player on the planet?
Number one, I think it's all someone's opinion of who they think is the best player on the planet. And LeBron is a great player, but K is great. I think KD is like a creative player. If you go and create this player and you can do everything you want to do, you're going to probably create Kevin Durant. And so he's special, but both of those guys are special. I don't think either one of them is out here playing, in this finals for the title of the best player in the world. They're playing for a title, an NBA title. And so I think that's the last thing on both of their minds is who's going to say who's better. Because at the end of the day, it don't matter. If you don't win, someone say, "Oh man, he's the best player in the world." What do you get from that? But you get a lot more from getting the ring. So, I think that's both of those guys' focus. If I had to look at it from the outside looking in, I would be willing to bet that both of them would rather have a title than that title.
Draymond, this is one of those theoretical matchups that can never happen. Yesterday, Magic Johnson said his Showtime Lakers would have probably swept you guys. What are your thoughts on that?
That's my thoughts.
Do you think about like historical matchups, how you guys stack up against some of the teams?
No, I don't, because I know it could never happen. First off, the game is completely different than it was back then. Like, nowadays, if you can't shoot a 3, you're a liability on the floor. That wasn't the case back then, so I never understand when people try to compare eras and say, oh, this team could have beat that team, or they couldn't have beat that team, or this player was better than that player. So it doesn't make sense to me because you're kind of talking two different games, for real. So I never really understand that, nor do I get off into it. They were great in their time, we're great in our time. And, respect that.
You guys have gotten so many comments from players of that era, of previous eras, about stuff like this. Do you ever tell yourself that when you're at that point to try and not be like that? To give players of the new era credit? Or do you think you'll be defensive of what you guys accomplished as well?
I think if you have self-confidence, you don't really care about who's coming after you is doing. I mean, you care, you want to see them do well, So for me, it's not going to be to try, that. Like, I don't foresee myself doing that. If they're great, they're great. Respect what they're doing. I think if you have full fulfillment in what you did, and then it's not really, we would have done this and we would have done that. I think we would say we would have ran them out the gym. But is that true? I don't know. We'll never know. But in the same sense, I don't think they were as fast as we are. So I sound stupid, right?
No, you sound right.
No, I think I sound stupid because that's how all of it be sounding to me. So
Draymond,
it is what it is.
if you do go 16-0, it would basically end the argument. Is that on your mind at all? History?
No, I don't think it ends the argument though, because once again, it's two different eras. You're playing against different teams. So to say, if we were to go 16-0, we beat four teams 16 times in a row. But they weren't the four teams that they had to beat, or whoever they beat. Like I still don't think there's a comparison to make.
Measured against maybe the difference of your competition. Like,
mean,
if you're that much better than everybody else.
Only thing you can ever measure is the numbers, just because it's right there in front of you. But I still don't think you can necessarily compare it. Now, that would be a great thing to do, and everyone wants to make history, but I want to win 4 games. And if that's 4-3, it's 4-3. If that's 4-0, great. But I just want to win 4 games. Championship is history. That's really the only history we need to make.
You guys circled 73 wins last year, though, pretty clearly. You went for it, and you got it. You're not doing the same for 16 right now?
No, we made that mistake of circling 73 and worrying about the wrong thing before. It don't matter. Like I said, it'd be great. It'll be a great story. But I don't think, when I talk, if we were able to do that, I don't think when I talk about championship, I say we only team win 16-0. I say we won a championship. And so I think that's all that matters at the end of the day.
What are the execution things that you said that you guys felt like you could improve on from game 2?
Number one, turnovers. You turn the ball over 20 times in this gym, it's probably going to be pretty impossible to win. That's when they get out, get dunks, they hit threes, the crowd gets into it even more, they feed off that, and they're a different team. So, we definitely need to do that and just continue to use each other. I think we did a better job of using each other and moving the ball in game 1 than we did in game 2. So, if we can do that, which I have no doubt in my mind that we can, and clean up on some of the defensive stuff. I think we made a lot of defensive mistakes in game 2. So if we can clean up on those couple things, put ourselves in a great position.
Draymond, how much of that game here back on Christmas helped you guys find the right balance with Steph and KD and making sure that you kind of got everybody involved with the right mixture to kind of make things flow as well as they have been ever since?
I don't necessarily think it made us find a balance, because I don't think we were ever necessarily searching for a balance. Even to this day, we don't say, oh man, we need to go to KD this much and Steph this much or Klay this. We don't do that. I think it just shows Steph we needed him to play his game. We needed him to be aggressive as he's ever been. We don't need you to not be aggressive to try to get everybody else involved. That'll happen because he demands so much attention that everyone else is going to get involved anyway. I think it showed us how aggressive we needed him to be, more so than finding a balance. Finding a balance is like, all right, how much do we need to lean on each guy? I don't really think we ever, I mean, there's times in every game where you're going to lean on someone, but we don't just go in saying we have to lean on this, we have to lean on this guy. We just play. And I think more so than anything, it really just showed us and Steph, we need you to be aggressive at all times. And everything else will figure itself out.
Steve has mentioned how this situation could have been awkward with the coaching in and out. How much of this smooth transition was because how Mike, the ability that Mike Brown kind of handled the whole process?
I mean, I think that was huge. The way he handled it. He never really changed anything up. He never tried to just impose himself on any situation. He just kept everything the same. Whenever Steve was around, hey, Steve talked, so I think the only thing that was ever different is you just didn't hear Steve's voice on the bench. And other than that, he was always around. You'd always hear his voice. And like I said, Mike B just kept everything the same. He never made it about him. And that's not an easy thing to do. When you're coaching a team like this, it's so many guys will be quick to just make it about themselves and, hey, this is my chance to go prove this and give me another job, or, this is my chance for everyone to talk about me. He never made it about that. I think in every interview he did, he probably talked about Steve. He talked about the team. And that goes a long way in, making these transitions so smoothly the way we have.
You've been with Neymar at game 2. What do you talk to him? What kind of talk do you talk?
About everything, about soccer, about...
Do you like soccer?
I do. About life, basketball, but just about everything.
Jordan, how was Kevin's defensive role and defensive impact different here with you guys than it was when you were playing against them?
I mean, I don't know what their strategy was. I don't know what, was demanded of him. So I think it's kind of hard to say. I know the standard that we have, and, he's risen above that standard. So I don't think there was ever a situation where we didn't think he could defend. Hell, we played him in the Western Conference Finals last year, and he was probably the best defensive player on the floor. So I can't really speak on, what he did there or what his role was there because I don't know the ins and outs of what they do.
But did you know that he could have the impact that he's had for you guys?
I did because I watched him have it on us.
Last year in the...
Yeah, so I definitely knew he could have that impact for sure.
Can he be more more impactful defensively just because he doesn't have quite the scoring burden on this team as he had earlier in his career? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. You mean like he doesn't have to save energy, I mean, that could be the case, but we still need him to go get 30, and he does that, so I don't know.
Thanks, everyone.